Hello and welcome to my home and into my garden of delight. I'm calling it because I am growing vegetables and orchids in this bedroom that is quickly shrinking, if you know what I mean. But that is okay, that's a good thing. That means the vegetables are growing, right? I'll give you a look at those at another time. But today, I wanted to thank you for stopping by as we talk a little bit about some orchids. I wanted to show you two orchids, maybe three, that have something going on with them. And I also wanted to talk to you about some of my plants that I have in Leca and some of the things I'm having to do lately with my Leca plants. So today's just going to be a part one. I'm going to show you my Leca in different forms and how it's used in some of my pots. But tomorrow or the next video, we're going to deconstruct some of our pots that are not in Leca and turn them into a Leca living environment. Or we're going to take some of those ghetto pots that you see at the end and try to make them a little more classy. We're going to clean up the pig and make it look a little more prettier. So we'll have a part one today and another part coming up soon. Let's look at the first beautiful thing that I noticed here. I have had this summer fowl for almost 3 summers now. And she, in the last 2 months, has produced a spike and a beautiful, beautiful flower. And these are this is the beautiful, let me get you close in just a minute, Phalaenopsis Tai-Shin Fly Eagle, Wilson number 66. Wilson always reminds me of the movie with the Tom, what's his name? Not Tom. Anyway, the airplane goes down, he's stuck on an island, and the volleyball's name's Wilson. Wilson! Anyhow, look at that beauty. Look at those colors. She smells a little cinnamony and limey all at the same time. Citrus. Ooh, I'm dripping the water. She got watered yesterday. She is what I think they call a summer fowl. Her leaves are not as solid as a Phalaenopsis that generally blooms in the fall or the winter, or the ones you see in the grocery store that have a spike that comes up with lots of flowers. This one will bloom one single spike, and it looks like it's coming out the middle, but it's coming from the back. And she will grow that and then sequentially grow another one and another one as she matures with time. So if you have one of these at home, don't cut off that spike when she's done flowering and the flower falls off. It might turn into the next flower and the next flower. So I am excited, but I come in here a couple times in the day to smell her. I've waited 3 years to smell any of these Bellina type little flowers. It's worth the wait. Yeah. But as you saw, she was in Leca. And I learned everything I need to know. Well, not everything. There's always more to learn. But I learned about Leca from my dear friend and fellow YouTuber, Nina, over at Ninja's Orchids. And please, if you have not ventured off into all the different orchid lands, her YouTube channel is prime. You will learn so many facts about orchids, about orchid care, and you can hear her passion while she speaks, that she is just smiling from ear to ear, telling you about growing in semi-hydro Leca stone. She grows an inorganic. I grow in all different types of things, in moss, in bark, in the Leca. I encourage you, check out her channel. She's across the globe, over in Spain, and she has a different climate than us here in Washington, but I can use the principles that she's taught me here in my orchid room. And that's what I wanted to talk with you about today, is the Leca beans and using them in my pots. So there below me, you see in the red bin my Leca beans. The Leca beans, when they come in dirty. They are dusty, full of all the chalk and the abrasion of the clay that runs off. So you rinse them under the sink, boil them to leach out any dirt, any of the residue that is in there, and you try to get the TDS meters to read as low as possible and your pH to be a steady number that you know is good for your water quality where you live. So that is what I've done, and they are ready to be used. Now I have had different plants in different containers. Let me show you what I have here. Like this beauty here, she is in one of these white pots. And recently I went and I changed some of my other phals into deeper pots, and I didn't have deep enough pots. So I made do with something that I wasn't very happy with. I'll show you that in just a minute. But there are different ways and different containers you can find out there on the market or in stores. But this, you know, was my own ghetto contraption where I just took one of my flowering pots, put the wicking string down through the middle, and it went down into the bottom of there, and it just had water reservoir on the bottom, Leca beans and plant on the top, and it sat on the top of my shelf nearest the light and got tons of algae. Every week I had to clean it, and it smelled, and I could smell it when I walked in the room. It was just gross. So I thought, okay, we have to get rid of the clear. Even though it's great that you can see the progress of your roots, it's not great for the cleaning and the stinky factor. So, and then there's this one. I got these both off of Amazon. Now this one's not as deep. So, you know, you see that. It's not that deep. And I had, I had found that my Phalaenopsis quickly outgrew this. They grew through the holes and out the bottom, which is, you know, fine and dandy until you need to remove them to put them into something bigger. But there's that option if you have a smaller plant. It doesn't have to be a Phalaenopsis. I have some dendrobiums in one of these. And then there's this one. Of course, they all use the wicking stick that goes down in between the layers. Same with this one. Now this one has a reservoir down there, and I put the wicking stick through and it goes to the bottom. And this is all solid. It's cleaned. It's just stained from the last round of Leca pellets in it. But it's a little bit deeper, so that gives you more time. But recently I had a lot of Phalaenopsis with the roots just climbing out the side, and it was packed up tight, and I had to put them in something bigger. And here's what I chose for the bigger. And hold on, this isn't the one I'm disappointed in. It is you'll see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. But what you can also do is go to the hardware stores, find a pot that is the size you like, put it in another pot, and make do like that. So I have that one in there. Then I did this one with the licorice pot. Now it, in theory, can have the same problem as the first one, where these can get algae and moldy, and I'll have to clean it. But this one isn't directly under the light, which is over there. It's a little bit of ways, but behind me is another light. So I'll keep watching her, but she has just gone crazy with her roots since I put her in the bigger container and gave her more space to grow. So there's always those options. But down here on the floor is the one that I call the ghetto. Do you see it? Past the tomato plants on the shelf, we have double stacking trash bins. Yeah, very unattractive, but those roots were so long, they were halfway down that pot. I thought, that's what I'm gonna have to do until I can find something that works. But I found that I have one downstairs and it's really ugly. I hide it behind the chair while the flowers are blooming up above the chair. But so I might not keep that. I might have to find a better solution for that one. Just because it's ugly, it's trashy. But you know, at the same time, maybe if I learn to sew, I can sew a little outer cover with a bow or something. I don't know if you can you really pretty up a trash can? I don't think you can. Put a ribbon on it and call it, it's like putting pearls on a pig. We shall see. This is my newest solution, and it's been the most costly so far, but I think like I've learned from Nina on her channel, if you get them large enough and big enough, you don't have to change them every year. They can last 3 years sometimes in the same container. And then if they need to go bigger, then some other orchid can replace it. So it's not like I'm ruining or having to throw these away. Now these have an extra watering trough because they're just for gardening, but I'm gonna put the wicking stick through there and the Leca, and I'm gonna drop them in there. And the colors don't matter to me because they'll be on the shelf like that and you won't see the colors. You'll see the beautiful plant coming out of the top. So I'm looking forward to transplanting some of my bigger phalaenopsis, maybe even some of those new ones I got the other day. Maybe I'll put 2 in one pot. Who knows? I have a variety of things to go through. Lately, I did just recently change some phals, and I don't really want to mess with them again. But let me show you, I have one more plant in my orchid room that's doing something. Woohoo! Hold on. I have a Dendrobium amabile. A-M-A-B-I-L-E. And as I was changing my orchid room around, I switched and put 2 shelves on one wall and opened up the closet so I could use the closet. And I came across this plant, and when I moved her, I noticed her flowering. Look at that. Can you see that? So pretty. I don't know what color she'll turn or if she'll stay white. I didn't Google it because it's been a while. I bought her a year ago, I think. But as I find new things in my orchid room, doing new stuff or first time things for me, I just get so tickled, and I think this is what we wait for. You know, you water, and you don't really know what the flower will look like, and this reminded me of a bundle of grapes. I'm excited. So thanks for sharing in my joy today and sharing with me about Leca and how you can keep your orchids in Leca. If you did not know, please check out Nina's channel and help her channel to grow. She has helped so many of us on our journey with orchids that it is unbelievable. But I appreciate your time today stopping by. I wish you wellness. I wish you peace. And until we talk again, bye-bye.